from an HR perspective, company communication and process stuff. A few questions around that,
Okay.
especially in today's climate, in today's world with social media and social issues and things that are happening in the world. I see a lot of companies, not all, but I see a lot of company executives speaking out, and taking a side on either political issues or social issues. The company will put out a statement, or the CEO will put out a statement about a sensitive topic, a social issue of some kind. Um, it seems to be that seems to be happening a lot more than it used to. I'm 53 years old. I didn't see a lot of that back in the day, and now I do kind of see more of that all the time. I'll see an executive say, "Well, hey, this social issue happened, and by the way, this is what we believe, and we're going to take this side or whatever." What are your thoughts on that? Should companies and executives speak out and take sides on things like that? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are when you see that happening, what you're hearing is an individual, the CEO or whatnot. But what's really happening is that culture is speaking up. The
Mm,
people are speaking up.
mhm,
And although it is a scary place to be, when you have the will of your people behind you, it becomes an expectation. And as a CEO or a senior leader, you have a lot of power of influence. So you really have to be careful to be balanced, right? No one should stand on a podium and preach their way as the right and only way. But when they give their people a voice and the people are unified and aligned, um, it's not the CEO talking, it's the culture talking, it's the people talking. Now, history has shown time and time again that no one person has all the answers, but a
mhm,
true leader can really help drive positive change in the community, in the organization. And I've been lucky to work with people like John Berlin, John Russell, Trudy McKenna, and Andy Doyle that have all taught me things. Remember how I mentioned earlier that I steal things from people?
right.
I stole things from each one of them. Andy taught me how to really understand that there's alternative perspectives and solutions, and I should consider them. John Russell helped me understand that there's historical perspectives that I should be considering. John Berlin is currently teaching me that as leaders, we're kind of the moral compass of the organization.
Mm,
And
mm.
Trudy McKenna said, look within yourself for the answers. Trust yourself. The answer is ultimately a lot of times, inside. So no matter what side of the political scale you're on, this is a tight race. The country is divided.
Mhm,
We need leaders that unify.
mm,
And so
mm.
I think it is important that they speak up, but it has to be their company's, their culture's voice, not their voice.
How do you feel about this perspective on it? I'll give you the current Riderflex take on this topic, and I'd like to get your opinion on our current stance on this topic. I'm always telling my partner, my co-founder, we kind of have this current policy, I guess, if you will, to not take a side on things. We're constantly very careful with our social media not to say anything political or take a side on a social issue. And my reasoning for that, selfishly as a capitalist, my reasoning for that is, hey, look, I want all clients. I want conservative clients, I want liberal clients, I want them all. And I don't want to piss any of them off because we need to build our company and I'll take the revenue from everybody. So I don't want to limit our prospective client base. So I'm super careful. Is that wrong? I mean, is that do you look down upon Riderflex as taking that kind of stance, or what are your thoughts on that philosophy?
You give a narrow, you're asking a very narrow question, and I would ask Riderflex, what are you doing for your community outside of that, taking that stance? What are you
Mm,
doing to
mm, mm,
support your people and their education? I would say that Riderflex is doing a lot to erode systematic racism across our country by helping people get jobs. I
Mm,
would say you're doing a lot for fairness by helping companies interview better and stamp out biases that they might have.
mhm,
So
mhm,
you're focusing too narrowly on your
mm,
platform.
mm,
You're
mm,
you're you're trying not to piss people off, which is great, but you're doing far more than that to give yourself more credit.
I like that. Okay, I feel better about it now. Thank you for saying that. Okay, cool. Very good.
But
Here's
you've had
another one.
150 podcasts already that are dedicated to helping people get jobs.
Thank you,
What
sir.
more authentic leadership is there than
Mm,
that? The fact
oh,
that I think it's a wonderful thing.
thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Here's another one that's come up a few times when I've talked to people. I was interviewing this executive one time. I won't mention the company or his name, but he just went off on a rant. He said, "Why?" He's like, "Why the hell do companies think they have to have a cause and a mission?" He's like, "What happened to the old days where a company could just make a good product for a good price and deliver it on time?" He's like, "Why isn't that good enough? Why do we have to have something else?" And he was just kind of going off on it. He's like, he's like, they spend all this time on their cause and their mission, and meanwhile the product's screwed up or they're not delivering or whatever. It's like just execute and make a good product. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story first, then I'll give you the science behind it.
Okay.
As a senior HR leader, every day, every day I get emails, LinkedIn requests, phone calls about products. Hey, Pat, I've got this product. Hey, Pat, have you considered this product? Hey, Pat, look at this. I delete them all. I
Mm,
delete every single unsolicited email, LinkedIn post, uh, however you try to reach me. If you lead with a product, I will delete you
ooh,
because listen to Simon Sinek. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it.
that's
Okay,
good.
right?
Mm,
If
mm,
and the reason is because your people are the only reason you're successful, right? And if your people believe in your cause, they will be intrinsically motivated to make a difference. People don't believe in products. It's only a matter of days before somebody imitates you and does it better than you. But it's hard to imitate and outpace somebody who firmly believes that what they're doing is for the betterment of X, Y, and Z, right?
that's
Hopefully
good stuff.
it's about people, but that's what Simon is talking about. And when you get that right, you've got this highly intrinsically motivated workforce that wants to make a difference every day to every customer or client group. When you're selling a product, it's a machine. It's just pumping them out. And I could care less what your product is. If your employees are motivated and willing to make a difference, sign me up. I'll listen to you.
That is good stuff, Pat. Wow, great. Appreciate you sharing that. Awesome.
Absolutely. I listen to the Simon Sinek Start with the Why um, TED Talk once a month. And it is the
Oh,
very
okay.
first thing that I give to my employees when we're starting to talk about um, aligning and bringing in stakeholders and pushing forward a project. It keeps me grounded. It helps me understand how to communicate with others.
Very good. Very good. I forgot to ask you this about social media. I want to come back to this just for a second for employees. Do you recommend people in the middle of their career search looking for a job? They're heavy into to a career change, so they're applying, they're pinging people on LinkedIn, networking, like you said. Should those people be careful with what they're posting and commenting on in their social media from a social issue or political stance?
You, I'm not going to necessarily condone this answer, but the fact is they have to be. I mean, they have
Mhm,
to be, right?
mhm,
Um, and companies do not want to hire people that are going to cast them in a negative doubt, right? We see this
mhm,
with celebrities and professional athletes all the time, but it happens even
mhm,
in everyday situations. So if there's an individual that is poking the bear from a political standpoint,
Mhm,
that absolutely could be reflected negatively in the interview process. Now, again, I'm not saying that's right.
mhm,
Um, we as Americans, what makes us Americans is we have the right to express ourselves,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
But you got to find the balance, and you need to be able to recognize when you're going off the deep end. There's this concept out there called the cancel culture, and I don't know if that's the right thing or not, right? I mean, we as Americans should be able to express ourselves without being feared of being canceled. But
mhm.
that's the reality of the world that we're living in. So until
Mhm.
that evolves or changes, if you want a job, you got to get your priorities straight. If expressing yourself on social media is more important than a job, then you've made your decision.
Very good. I say it, I tell people the same thing. We give that advice to candidates that we're working with. We're like, "Hey, look, it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be part of the hiring process, and companies probably shouldn't be doing this. But the reality is they are going to look you up on social media. So be ready for it." If you think today's tip or guest interview can help someone you know, please share this with them. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. The Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviewing. You can visit riderflex.com to learn more about us and get information and pricing on the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Thanks so much for listening and have a great day.